Hej, siemano wam wszystkim ludzie, z tej strony Arturo, witam was na swoim kanale i zapraszam was na kolejny odcineczek z Broken Sword Director's Cut. Moi drodzy, dotarliśmy do szpitala, gdzie musimy spotkać się z niejakim Marquetem, który może mieć jakiekolwiek pojęcie o klejnocie, który Pigram miał mu przekazać. Na szczęście my ten klejnot przejęliśmy, no i sami dotarliśmy do szpitala, żeby spotkać się z Marquetem. Czy dojdzie do skutku takiego spotkania? Trudno powiedzieć, ponieważ lekarz jak i recepcjonistka nie chcą nas przepuścić dalej, no chyba, że bylibyśmy rodziną bądź krewnym właśnie Jacques'a Marqueta, a nim nie jesteśmy. Dlatego musimy wykombinować jakiś inny sposób, żeby dostać się do sali szpitalnych. I wróciliśmy, czyli obeszliśmy sobie to wszystko dookoła, tak? Dobra, mamy klejnot. Tak naprawdę, no nie mam pomysłu. Spróbuję jeszcze raz porozmawiać z lekarzem.
Excuse me, sir.
Tylko na jaki temat miałbym z nim rozmawiać?
Does the name Thomas Merlin mean anything to you?
No, it does not.
Look at this, Doc. It's a genuine medieval type gemstone.
Yes, so I see.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamat?
No, sir, I have not.
Wydaje mi się, że z doktorkiem, no nawet jeżeli porozmawiamy na wszystkie te tematy, to i tak niczego nie osiągniemy.
Thanks for your help.
Znaczy bardziej bym powiedział, że w jakiś sposób może uda się recepcjonistkę przekonać.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Have you seen this man here at the clinic?
No, sir. And I never forget a face.
What does this gem suggest to you?
I advise you not to flash that around.
Look at this ID pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
For me?
Yes. He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see. He was on Ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh dear. He's on Ward J2. That's... Nurse Grendel's ward.
No i proszę bardzo, wystarczyło pokazać naszą wizytówkę elektryka. No, co prawda nie naszą, ale powiedzmy, że naszą.
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything, I mean everything, is done to a strict routine. 6 o'clock alarm call, 6:10 bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
And then some.
Czyli na naszej drodze może pojawić się kolejna przeszkoda, czyli ta czarnoskóra kobieta.
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous, with a big green capital J. How do I find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left, turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
Brzmi troszeczkę jak labirynt szpitalny.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Mam nadzieję, że George tam trafi bez problemu.
As I turned the corner, I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed through the corridors. It was an industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
Spróbuję z nim porozmawiać.
Hello.
What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know what? If you start whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
It's a deal.
No nie mam zamiaru bić tego staruszka, ale wypytajmy się o Kana. No i w sumie może będzie się chciał w końcu z nami przywitać.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Who is it?
That's what I'm asking you. Have you seen him before?
How should I know? You haven't told me who he is.
Take a look at the photo.
Yeah, okay.
Now, have you seen him before?
No.
Jestem ciekaw, czy to jest jakiś pracownik tego szpitala, czy pacjent, bo tak jest ubrany w taki, nie wiem, uniform szpitalny?
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not until I've washed, if you don't mind, sir.
Okej.
Do you recognize this pass?
No, I don't. Should I?
No, but I wondered if you'd seen a stranger flashing it about.
No, sir. But if I had, Mr. Shiny would take care of him.
What does this tissue suggest?
You have a cold. What you need is vitamin.
Chciałem się o klejnot wypytać.
What do you think of this, Sam?
Oh, boy. What is it?
A priceless gemstone, found in a medieval castle in Ireland. Get me into Marquet's ward, and it's yours.
I don't wear jewellery.
If this gem was yours, you'd be able to buy 100 Mr. Shinies.
Don't be silly. There's only one Mr. Shiny.
No dobra, na te 4 pozostałe tematy nie będziemy z nim rozmawiać, ale no, wypytajmy się o tych ludzi.
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the quarters?
No, sir, I haven't. But I've got nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good care of the rascals, I'll bet you would. With a friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great comfort.
He is.
Zaczynam poważnie myśleć, czy raczej się zastanawiać, czy to nie jest jakiś szpital psychiatryczny albo oddział psychiatryczny? No bo ten dziadek nie wygląda na normalnego.
Would Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
How come you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I asked you not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you? I don't mind. The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind me back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull-through.
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
No, I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
Serio, ten gość jest nienormalny.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
Znaczy się, obstawiam, że to będzie albo ta sala, albo no stąd chyba przyszliśmy, tak? No jest kontakt, więc pana Błyska mu za chwilę wyłączymy.
Hey now, you can't go in there.
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
Dobra, dziadek idzie zobaczyć do kontaktu, co się wydarzyło, a my w tym czasie zajrzyjmy do kącika gospodarczego. No tak chyba wygląda, nie? Ten pokój.
The door didn't have a sign or label or any kind of identification.
No teraz zdecydowanie wyglądamy jak dr George Stobbarta.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Oh, hi. Is this Ward J2?
Yes, sir. The patients are ready for your inspection, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse.
You'll need this, Doctor.
A, czyli podstępem tutaj się dostaliśmy.
She gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
Jasne. Się zastanawiam, czy gdybym nie wyjął tego fartucha, to czy też bym był w stanie wejść do tej sali i jakby potraktowała mnie właśnie ta kobieta.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I don't.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
It's beautiful, but I've never seen it before.
Jestem ciekaw, czy mi poda rękę.
Would you like to shake hands with me?
Well,
No, it's okay. Forget it.
Kamina.
What is this device?
it's for taking the patient's blood pressure, doctor.
Dobrze, że nie do robienia lewatywy.
Do you have any clowns on the ward?
Why, yes, we do. A professional clown.
I'll bet he lightens the place up.
Hardly. Monsieur Boissy has been in a coma for the last 3 months.
What's wrong with Boissy?
He was involved in a very nasty accident. A silly stunt involving a unicycle. His current condition is due to post-traumatic shock. It's unlikely he'll ever perform as a clown again.
It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good. Do you have a patient named Marquet on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward. He has been placed in strict isolation.
Chciałbym z nim zamienić słówko.
Why is Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that Marquet's room is strictly out of bounds.
Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's not my concern, monsieur.
Jaka zła się od razu zrobiła.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Czyli my musimy porozmawiać z pacjentem numer 3, tak? Czyli tym dziadziusiem.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobbarta, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
What's your impression of Nurse Grendel?
She's a very efficient young woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
Czyli pacjenci nic do niej nie mają. W sumie to dobrze.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer.
Przychodzimy do szpitala, pokazujemy zdjęcia pacjentom jakiegoś gościa i mówimy, że to jest morderca. Naprawdę. Robimy wszystko, żeby wyzdrowieli.
No way. Does this gem mean anything to you?
No, doctor.
Dobra, zmierzmy mu ciśnienie.
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Why?
I'm a doctor. It's my job. Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
A tam od razu niewłaściwie.
Have you heard of a guy called Merlin?
No, doctor.
No dobra, oszczędzimy sobie te 4 pytania.
I'll come back later.
Ja bym się chciał spotkać z Marquetem.
Doctor!
What is it?
You haven't taken my blood pressure.
No przecież mierzyliśmy mu ciśnienie.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
Dobra, spróbuję ponownie. Mam nadzieję, że znowu dziadek nie powie: ej, zmierz mi ciśnienie.
Oh, Doc,
What now?
you didn't finish taking...
Ja pierdzielę, no. Chyba będę musiał poprosić siostrę o to, żeby to wykonała.
Okay.
You don't have the first idea what you're doing, do you?
I'll come back when you've recovered your manners.
Dobra. Pogadajmy z siostrą.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
Do you want this,
Device for measuring blood pressure?
Yeah, do you want it back?
No, thank you.
A mogłaby mnie siostra nauczyć mierzyć ciśnienie?
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir,
No bo tutaj widzę, że nie ma żadnych punktów interaktywnych. W sumie, gdyby udało się tą zasłonę tutaj tak zasłonić, to może by ten dziadek się nas nie czepiał, że nie zmierzyliśmy mu ciśnienia.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
No musimy wykombinować coś, tak? Tylko, że nie wiem, czy będę w stanie coś teraz tutaj wykombinować. Dobra, wiecie co? Zrobimy tak. Wejdziemy na zewnątrz.
Hello.
Oh, hi! No whistling, right?
Right.
Może ten gościu będzie wiedział, jak mierzyć ciśnienie.
Are you having trouble with Mr. Shiny?
Yes, I am. I don't know what's got into him today. He keeps pulling his plug.
Do you recognize...
Is that dandruff?
No way.
It sure looks like dandruff.
It's plaster.
Ugh.
Upiesz, tak?
See you later.
Yeah.
A my tam mówiliśmy coś, że wrócimy, kiedy poradzi sobie z łupieżem.
Hi, it's me again. Do you know what this is?
It looks like plaster.
Do you recognize this red...
Doesn't that belong?
No. I found it in a sewer.
He's a clown, you know. You wouldn't think so to look at him now, would you?
Have you any idea...
No, Doctor.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
I'm not really a nightclub.
Do you know what this tool is?
I'd rather not, Doctor.
Do you know what...
It looks like...
Czyli jednak nie.
I'll come back later. Maybe not.
Lepiej nie. Ale wiecie, gdybyśmy go potraktowali brzęczkiem, na pewno ciśnienie by mu wzrosło.
Hi, it's me again. That is not a good idea.
To nie jest dobry
I'll
pomysł.
come...
Czyli musimy wykombinować coś innego.
The connector in the socket supplied electricity to the polishing machine.
Ale widzę, że tej wtyczki już wyjąć nie mogę, czyli do kącika gospodarczego też już zajrzeć nie będę mógł.
Hey, I asked you not to go in there.
I know, but I'm...
Oh no, I'm responsible for that cupboard and the contents.
Okay.
The connector in the socket...
Hi, my name's George Stobbarta.
Yes, sir? Pleased to meet you, sir.
Call me George if you like.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's my name.
My name's Benoit, but everyone calls me Bunny.
Bunny?
That's right. I used to have this cute habit when I was a kid.
Keep it to yourself, Benoit.
Okej.
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something. Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
No, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Dobra, jestem ciekaw, czy dzięki temu, że oddaliśmy mu ciśnieniomierz, tamten dziadek nie będzie chciał, żebyśmy mierzyli mu ciśnienia.
Do you know the nurse on Ward J2?
No, monsieur. This is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean I'd get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Shut up, Benoit.
Okay, sir.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. I've never seen him before.
Shake my hand, Benoit.
I don't think that's a good idea, sir.
How come?
Dermatitis.
I don't have dermatitis.
I do.
Okej.
Does this gem mean...
Not me, sir.
No dobra.
See you later.
Right.
Hi.
Yes,
Oh, it doesn't matter. Excuse me, sir.
Aha! Just the man. You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him?
Jasne.
He's fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
No dobra, czyli poprosimy po prostu tego dzieciaka, żeby zmierzył ciśnienie tamtemu gościowi. A my wykorzystamy okazję i co, no, przejdziemy dalej, tak? A zaraz, gdzie jest ten dzieciak? A, dobra, idzie.
Hi, it's me again. I'll come back. Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir?
Do you still have that gauge I gave you?
Oh, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Use it on Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
A my sobie po prostu przejdziemy dalej. O, i kolejny strażnik. Czyli to nie będzie takie proste dostać się tutaj.
I'm Dr. Stobbarta.
Bonjour, docteur.
Ale jakie ma oczy, wygląda jakby spał.
Have you seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How was the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, doc, right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
Może mieć i wąglika. Muszę się z nim spotkać.
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks.
No, czyli nie będzie problemu, żeby wejść do środka.
Would you like to shake hands?
What for?
As a gesture of goodwill.
On reflection? No.
Nikt nie chce się ze mną przywitać, no kurde.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I have never seen him before.
Do you recognize this gem?
It isn't an emerald, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, doc.
O, gościu naprawdę jest w ciężkim stanie.
Marquet?
Yes. I am Marquet. I've
been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lahmar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the assassin.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grandmaster. Quickly tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
You have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them as for Klausner. He has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the...
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If Herr Hagenmeyer was to hear that...
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Ah, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter! The door's locked. Help me, officer.
Stand back, monsieur.
Hello, Georges.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah, killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window.
Jedyną osobą w tej grze, która się przebiera, to jest Khan. Dlaczego George myśli, że to nie on?
Have you ever heard of the Hashi-Ashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again.
No nie wiem, jakoś ten lekarz, fałszywy lekarz nie wyglądał na żadnego asasyna.
Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves. Do you want to look after the gem?
No, Georges. I'd be too tempted to say...
Okej. O, ciśnienie możemy zmierzyć Niko.
Maybe not. I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rousseau or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to André.
I'll let you work it out.
Czyli co, udamy się na posterunek policji. Ale nie ma tutaj Rosso.
Sergeant Mou?
Yes.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the...
I'm the victim.
I see.
outside the hotel Uber. They stopped me as I was leaving.
Could you describe the...
One looked like a gorilla. Their names are Flack...
Ale na te tematy już rozmawialiśmy. Dobra, wiecie co? Plan jest taki. Byśmy musieli udać się do muzeum i ostrzec tamtego strażnika przed tym, że ktoś będzie chciał ukraść statyw.
See you later, sir.
O, czyżby to był Andrzej?
I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No. I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobbarta. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Pegram? Professor Nigel Pegram? He's in Ireland, investigating a Templar site, isn't he?
He was, until he disappeared.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter. Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, André.
Not now, Georgie.
No okej. Dobra, wypytajmy się o tematy na samej górze.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn. Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah. Not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman.
Mi się wydaje, że George jest po prostu od niego zazdrosny.
This friend who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, André.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Oh, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
Co tam taki system alarmowy dla takich dwóch rzezimieszków? Poza tym, no nie sądzę, aby ten strażnik przez całą noc tutaj też pilnował.
Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassins.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legend surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
Okej, czyli porozmawialiśmy tak naprawdę na wszystkie tematy.
No. Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
No to się gościu zdziwi, jak statyw zniknie.
Hello, Georges. Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have...
Jestem ciekaw, dlaczego niektóre opcje dialogowe po prostu nie znikają, kiedy już poprowadzimy na ten temat rozmowę.
I'd better get back to the quest.
Dobra, udajmy się jeszcze raz do muzeum. I porozmawiajmy z Andri.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, She told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They're probably long dead.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
No i świetnie, coś niecoś się dowiedzieliśmy. Lotnisko. Jeszcze raz udam się na chwilę do Nicole.
Hello, George.
Is there something going on between you and Labano?
What business is it of yours? We agreed all this, the clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but...
So get off my case.
Jaka mina. No mówiłem, że George jest zazdrosny.
Do you think the assassin... He was... I'd better get...
Dobra, mam nadzieję, że pojawiła się nowa lokacja na naszej mapie. I możemy udać się do Hiszpanii. Rezydencja de Vasconcelos.
Hi, is this the De Vasconcelos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble. My name's George Stobbarta. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the De Vasconcelos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcelos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
No, she hasn't won the lottery.
A more cunning man might have claimed that she had.
Oh yeah? They might have, might they?
And that more cunning man would have been kicked off the premises. The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why?
No właśnie, dlaczego? Może zna gościa z fotografii.
Do you recognize this man?
No.
Would you like to shake hands?
I do not think so, senor.
Nie, no myślę, że gdybyśmy gościa popieścili prądem, to już woda z tego węża trafiłaby prosto w moją twarz.
What do you make of this?
So that's it.
If I was hawking medical supplies... See this gem? Men have died for it.
Do I look as if I care?
This lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing.
Dobra, musimy w jakiś sposób przekonać tego gościa, żebyśmy mogli porozmawiać z hrabiną.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
I don't smoke.
I'll be going for now.
Adios.
Tylko jak to zrobić? Moglibyśmy zakręcić mu wodę w wężu. Ale zobaczcie, no gościu nie ma nic przeciwko, że się kręcę obok rezydencji.
Hey, you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry.
Do środka wejść nie mogę, ale mogę za to chodzić dookoła tej rezydencji.
I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone.
Ale coś może na tym będę mógł użyć, tylko co? Co bym mógł użyć na wężu? No najlepiej jakby były jakieś nożyczki, bym to przeciął.
The hose ran from some sort of utility room all the way to the lawn. I didn't like the idea. The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section.
Jeszcze na chwilę spróbuję z nim porozmawiać.
Hello again.
You again?
Yep, and it's a real bonus to see your smiling face too. I'll be
Adios, senor.
Nie ma nowych opcji dialogowych, ale tu też mamy jakiś budynek.
I'm no student of architecture, but the little building looked old. I wondered if it was some sort of summer house.
A czy ja będę mógł tam w ogóle w jakiś sposób pójść? Mogę. Dotarliśmy do jakiejś... Jakaś kapliczka albo coś takiego, ale zobaczcie, mamy zakon templariuszy.
Rats. It's locked. From a distance, I thought it might be a summer house. Close up, I wasn't so sure.
Dobra, jest zamknięte. Być może ogrodnik będzie wiedział, w jaki sposób mielibyśmy to otworzyć. Bądź ma klucz.
Down below the estate, I could see the sea stretching away. It was a beautiful sight, and looked a lot like the scene from the manuscript. Hello again.
You again?
Yep.
Nie ma w ogóle takiej opcji dialogowej, żeby zapytać się o ten budynek.
I'll be going for now.
Adios, senor.
Czyli tak, no dotarliśmy do Hiszpanii. W jakiś sposób będziemy musieli dostać się do rezydencji, żeby porozmawiać z hrabiną. Na chwilę obecną nie mam pomysłu, jak tego dokonać, ale moi drodzy, zajmiemy się tym w kolejnym odcinku. Mam nadzieję, że ten wam się podobał. Dzięki wielkie za uwagę. Trzymajcie się. Hej!